All right, guys, what's up? Another breakdown. This is a legendary match that I kind of forgot about. And apparently, this is Josh Barnett. They call him a catch wrestler. Apparently, he doesn't do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So it's just grappling versus grappling, really, guys. They have different names and they have different tasks based on the rule sets that they play in. So I'm going to say this about this match. I watched it one time, double speed, really quick through. And it's another one of those grappling clinics, man. Just a basic thing. If you guys watch the Marcelo breakdown video, it's going to be a lot of similarities here. And I don't know if these guys are cognizant of it or whatever, but they're going for a lot of the same things. Now, there's a huge size difference, guys. So, that factors into things always. I know the BJJ guys, especially hiring Gracie here, they say, they tried to push that, size doesn't make a difference. And that's delusional. Size does make a difference, guys. Especially size, strength, grappling experience, and basic action capacity in general. It starts to become a handicap to have to deal with larger and larger different sized people. You can get used to larger people, and I'm sure in different sport rule sets, you can get away with absolute divisions. You can get away with doing well in those. But for the most part, guys, in combat sports, there's a reason that there are weight classes. This is an interesting match because it's, at the time, Metamoris and Hiram Gracie and the Gracies were still at the top. I'd say that a lot of the attention has now dissolved away from the Gracies. I know they're still super hyped and stuff, but at this time, the Gracies were the pinnacle. Everybody was on their YouTube channel. Now there's a lot of other people and a lot of other focuses out there, a lot of other schools that are notable, and anyone can get you, basically. What I mean is, you have this guy over here who has maybe no belt in jiu-jitsu. I don't even know if he's got an actual belt, but Josh Barnett is a grappler nonetheless. So when I just start playing it on double speed, you're going to see these guys dance for a while on the feet. I think I actually went forward a little bit too, but they just play this jockeying game. They're trying to get connections on each other, to have a favorable connection. You guys know these games. We start from far away, we get a connection, try to have two hands on our opponent while they have one or less on us. And it really looks like to me that Josh is going for a snap down style. He's trying to get behind Hiram's head. I believe that that's what he's going for, because it looks to me like there are so many times where he could have just snatched up that leg and went for that single and put Hiram on his back. So, I just see different things. He's in there. He's the one who has to deal with fighting a world-class black belt or whatever, much smaller opponent. So we're dealing with this little dance that these guys are having at the beginning of the match. It's a 20-minute match, so the rules dictate the behaviors. The rule sets kind of affect how people behave. And you'll see maybe they're starting slow because they know they have to roll for 20 minutes. But if I put a 3-minute timer on and said the match is 3 minutes, go beat the shit out of each other, they'll find a way to win. But these guys have 20 minutes, so they're dancing a little bit, feeling each other out. And then right here, immediately right there, we saw an underhook, right? So Josh gets closer. They're connected now, ear to ear. He's stripping this grip. He's got an underhook, right? He's connected, and he's going to try, since his head is above Hiram's head, he's going to try to get on top and behind. And he actually did just that. These guys hit the floor so fast in 2 times speed that it was just ridiculous. But basically, Josh just got to a front headlock situation, put Hiram's hands on the mat, and he decided to pin himself. So now you have Hiram Gracie pinning himself willingly underneath Josh Barnett, maybe to protect his neck, because his neck is wrapped up. And now we just have, what does this look like, guys? To me, it looks like it's going to become elbow separation, chest to chest, free your leg game again. Just like in Marcelo's match, they get to this chest to chest situation and it never lets up, right? So he frees his head, and now we're playing this game. I think he was trying to re-guard to close guard for whatever reason. Eventually he does get to close guard in this match, and it doesn't really yield anything. Look, we have, guys, look at it again. We have that chest down, ear to ear, elbow separation, double underhooks, right? It doesn't need to be a BJJ guy that can do this to you. It could be any old person that learned how to grapple or wrestled or anything. It's get your leg free, right? Get your leg free from between his knees while you pin and elbow separate. Look how high up this elbow is, guys. That is just really high up. This is an old match too, man. This is from years and years back. So Right now we're just watching. It's just crushing you on the bottom. And you know, all the preaching about how it's okay to like play on your back and stuff. I mean, this is not where you want to be. I'm just telling you right now. If you had like a little timer in the gym counting how much time you spend on top out of all of your matches and gives you a ratio, I mean, that would be a really nice metric to look at. This is what you want to do with your grappling, guys. Be the top player, separate the elbows, and beat the legs while you're doing it. So he's trying to cover the hips. Josh is working on covering the hips here by freeing his legs. So I can't tell if he's in full-on mount. It looks like he almost gets there, and Hiron's doing a good job re-guarding his closed guard. But all this energy, he's really not getting any step forward in mobility, any step forward in isolating Josh at all. Top player is just doing his thing. So right there, we did have a destabilization, guys. So what's the bottom guy's like? What would he want to do here? And he wants to find a way to get on his side in order to get chest to chest removed. He does not want to be chest to chest. He wants to get his elbows in and get on his side to push Josh away. So he makes a pushable surface with his right hook there and pushes Josh off to the side, gets on his side, right? You see that right there, guys? He's on his side. Bottom player is not pinned right now for a brief moment, and he has at least an attempt of getting this elbow. Where is it? This elbow right here. He's trying to get that back in, and he decides again to just throw his leg over and go back to close guard. Now that position right there, we often see a lot of failure from. Let's just let that happen one more time, and then I'll pause it when I see it. All right, so this position right here of the legs. So one leg's out and around, and one leg is a hook. Now, this, when you get here a bunch of times, guys, you'll start to see that this is not a good spot to be in. Josh is still occupying the elbow space and still separating the elbows, and he's splitting the legs now because the legs are not connected around, and they're not both inside, they're one and one, which often opens up this ability for him to pass and access this knee line. Once he passes this knee line, he's covering the hips again. So watch, Josh actually goes for it right off the bat, and he just uses coverage of the hips to pin the hips and walk past that knee line. Now he's past the knee line, and he's going to try to control up on the head again. So after he's done passing the legs, he's going for the head again. The legs are caught. Josh is going, yeah, Josh just stepped right through, right? His legs caught, right, guys? We're back to square one, but we have a different alignment, and we still have a chest-to-chest pin, so we're doing good. We have that chest-to-chest pin. He tried to isolate an arm right over here. See how high up he's jumping over that leg? Bam. Jumps over the leg. Now he's walking to north-south. He's trying to isolate that arm. Still keeping a pin going. Now he's on the far shoulder control. So Hiron's head and arm here are free. And he's pushing on this knee to try to get behind Josh. Like there's a back take here if he could lift that knee off the mat. And Hiron, I think he knows that, but this is going to cause Josh to step right. He's going to step through that guard right now because he's, again, guys, he's pinning the shoulders flat. It's hard to be really effective just laying flat and being pinned. Even though his head and his arm are free, Josh is pinning the far shoulder and he's got something covering the hips. He's going to step his leg through. And Hiron decided to connect his hands there for some reason. Did you see that? So we pass over, shoulders down, pinning down, right? Hiron connects his hands like he's going to put Josh's back on the mat. Now, I'm not sure about that. I really don't know if that's the thing I'd be trying to do. I'd still be trying to get on my side and trying to, you know, get more mobile. But if we played the game here, 9 times out of 10, the top guy's going to step his leg through just like this. And now we have hip coverage, right? Josh is really, really focused on his hips, and Hiron's head is free, right? His head's free, his arm's free over here. So let's see where they end up. Hiron gets on his side for a second. Josh decides to flatten him back out. He's trying to off-balance Josh, and he can't. He just can't off-balance him. And now we have elbow separation again. This elbow is way away from the torso. This elbow is separated away from the torso. All right, so we just have the same thing. Smash bottom guy with separated elbows. And the longer that this happens, the more odds of Josh finding something. Josh played with his foot a little bit there to fake, like kind of like make him a little bit worried about leg entanglements. Now at the time, guys, leg entanglements were still not like a mainstreamed like well rehearsed, hashed out thing yet. At the time of this match, it was still like controversial or something for a lot of gyms to train leg entanglements. I remember the movement. This was like, you know, there was a time where it wasn't a normal thing. It was a time where it was resistance. There was resistance met with leg entanglements because of fear and the traditional way not liking it. So we have another pin. We have elbow separation again. Josh is pushing out that elbow. He's going to get his leg free. That's what he's trying to do. That's the game we play. Legs free, hip is covered. Now he's trying to move towards the head. So he's trying to move towards the head, guys. You see he's pinning the shoulders, separating the elbows, trying to move towards the head to control it and separate elbows, pushing hips, covering hips. Now we're covering hips. And while he's transitioning to mount, Hiron feels that he's going to get on his side, and it didn't happen. And Josh came down and just smushed him again. So being flat on your back's really, really not great for you, to be honest. We got to a leg entanglement here. This is like pre-mainstream leg entanglements too. So it's interesting. We do get, so this is a game we play too from mount. Get your knee between you and your opponent, and Hiron actually does it right here. So you see this knee right here? He's going to have that between, he's going to have inside position between Josh Barnett's legs right about here. So you see the foot here, the knee here. That's a hook to elevate and push Josh off of him. It makes Josh go into like a kneel or standing. He has to like stand to deal with this. Now Josh has to rectify his lead leg. So now the lead leg's entangled. Josh is standing. Hands are removing connections. So you see Josh's hands busy removing connections. So we'll watch it again. In a leg entanglement, hands are moving connections. There's a hand right here, removing connections. The hands are removing connections. And Josh is trying to get rectified lead leg. Whether you go towards it and you reunite your legs, or you get your leg out and reunite your legs, we rectify the lead leg. And let's see how that happens. He drops down and gets both knees to the mat, and that's another way that we can rectify the lead leg, by getting it away from the bottom player's control on it. And that's what Josh did. He used chest to chest to do it, and now he's stepping past that guard again, and he steps past that guard again, and now he's going to cover. And watch this. We get a leg entanglement. So in the process, so technically, right, if Josh could get his leg around this leg, he can have inside position and have that leg between his legs, and we can enter a leg entanglement there. So right here, Josh sees that, and we're going to get a leg entanglement on the top leg. So we're in a leg entanglement on the top leg. Hiron just uses his secondary leg to get out. Yep, we get back out. Josh comes up on top and uses it to just keep him pinned, keep your opponent pinned. And if you just count the amount of time Hiron spends on his back, it's just crazy. We're in that position again where we had that one hook. All right, this is another losing position for a guard player. One stuffed hook here, 1 foot over the top. It's a losing position for the guard player a lot of time, guys. Yep, this is what you get. Let's see if we get past this or if we end up in closed guard. So he's got to basically unite his legs some capacity. Whether he gets another hook in or he gets his legs around Josh, he needs to find one way to do one of those two things. He can't stay here long. So he's finding a way to get his legs. Now his legs are reunited and they're wrapped around Barnett. So Josh Barnett, sorry. We're going to have pinning, still pinned. So we're playing closed guard, guys, but we're still pinned. He's still bearing all the weight of Josh. He still has to deal with that. I mean, he's got a high lock on the guard and all that, and that's fine and dandy, but, you know, he just did 10 minutes of being the bottom player, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see how this match ends. So, you know, good job on Hiron, like, you know, staving off the attacks of Josh Barnett, but he's spent the entire time being pinned, and if this was an MMA match, man, I don't know. Top player would have mangled the bottom player at this point. So Hiron's just weathering the storm on bottom. Maybe he's playing the rule set. Maybe he's smarter than I am, but I don't know. Being underneath Josh Barnett with the frames like this, he can't get around the corner. He's trying to get around the corner for an armbar or something, and Josh is just doing base on your throat, base on your throat. Now, guys, this is 2 times speed. They spend a while just sitting there with him pushing down on that pressure. So like Josh just pushing into that guard and just keeps doing this pressure cook, crush the bottom guy. Bottom guy climbs up. It just keeps happening over and over again until we end up in this open guard with feet. Remove the feet from your body. Yes, he went to some kind of cradle. Now we're in that hook over leg again, over underpass style, right? And this is just top guy blasting down his chest hard on you and getting around your legs. Now he's covering the hips. So he turned the corner on the legs there, guys. Got underneath one leg. So he could go towards the head here or towards the outside. And he goes towards the outside. Now, a lot of times when you go towards the outside, the guy turtles up and runs away. But Hiron decided to flatten himself out and pin himself again in response. So now we have Josh getting a nice, easy free pin again. This time his attention is all on the legs as he gets low to try to move those elbows up. So he's going to separate these elbows now as he's playing here. Josh's attention is on the hips and the legs right now as he's starting to position himself and cover bottom player with a lot of his body. They get a little reset for some reason. They're close to the edge of the mat. They start in like, you know, this hip grabber position. He's covering the hips. He's covering the head. He's wet blanket. Now we get to this, guys. This has been popping up a lot in competitions, actually. That situation right there got popularized on like Instagram techniques. A couple of guys are famous for doing them. I don't know who they are, but they're doing they hit like 40 of them in a match. So it's a reverse closed guard. And when you're in this, the bottom player can start to expose the top player's feet to leg entanglements. Like this outside foot could get toe holded. I think Josh already had a good reaction to this. You can see as he gets sucked into this like upside down closed guard, he pops his head out. So right here, if he let these legs get around his waist, then his legs are both entangled and they're isolated. So watch. He pops his head out, and as he pops his head out, he just wraps his legs around. He's got his legs around, and now he's doing the same thing back to Hiron. So he's doing the same thing back to Hiron. And we're in this situation now where we have this kind of strange leg entanglement where both legs are entangled and both players are facing opposite with their hips. And for some reason, I don't think Hiron was training leg locks enough or something, but he tapped so early, guys. He gave a false positive tap here. I just don't see the submission personally. Like nowadays, nobody would tap to this nowadays. But, you know, it shows a little bit of a blind spot, even to the best black belts at the time in BJJ, that leg locks were underdeveloped and criminally ignored and neglected, or leg entanglements in general. So let's just see. He tapped, and there is no connection here to tap for any reason yet, right? There's no leg really isolated. He's got his secondary leg there to kick the elbow off the hand. Like he could use this secondary leg to kick his leg free, get his knees to the mat, come up, you know, at least get into a shootout. But there's just a historical willful ignorance of BJJ at that time towards the leg entanglement game, and we didn't really have a safe way to train it. Now we play the games in the classroom, and it's just great, guys. I was doing a couple games this morning with my guys in the live stream. That live stream got messed up, so I don't know. I was streaming 24 minutes in, it cuts off, so you guys won't be able to see that, sorry. So anyway, he taps. There's really no reason to tap here. I don't see it. There's no actual connection or covered toes. There's no connection around the heel. It's like a super preemptive tap for no reason at all. No reason at all. I don't know why he tapped, guys. It didn't look justified to me. It looked like a fear tap. And anyone who knows like this stuff, there would be no reason for that tap to happen. So I don't know, maybe he got injured or something, but there was no reason to do that. So this was a blender, man. This was just good grappling again, defeating whatever BJJ stuff was going on here. This is an old match, guys, so nowadays the new grapplers, they look different. But this is another example of you can be a black belt and get treated like a white belt. Completely treated like a white belt. If you guys go watch this match, it's 15 minutes of this. Just Josh chest down, Josh smashing. Little moments where chest was not connected, but then he found ways through frames. He found ways to immobilize Hiron over and over again. And there were a few times where Hiron's decisions to pin himself really were questionable. He didn't get back to mobile. He didn't work to anything else. He kept going, you know, reflexively straight to flat on the back. Nowadays, he's like, this is almost like, what, 15 years ago or something, guys? Maybe even 20 years ago we're creeping up on. So, you know, respect to both athletes. They did great. I'm just talking about the decisions they made in this particular match. You know, against a Josh Barnett, large wrestler type, pinning yourself could be a tough choice. And then remaining pinned for the entire match is just a harsh reality. And it did lead to a leg entanglement, which was something a bit novel here. And you could tell it was novelty for Hiron because he preemptively tapped to something that was not a submission. I don't know. This I don't see a connection at all, guys. There is no connection here. Even early on, the way their arms are aligned, there's no breaking connection or fear of that. It's just it's a fear tap, really. It's a fear tap. It's a fake tap. So you guys stay sharp. You know your stuff so you don't fake tap. Train these leg locks. Don't be ignorant. Play the games. The games are really good for this. You'll know when it's real. And hopefully, if you guys could go watch this Josh Barnett versus Hiron Gracie match, maybe you'll see the same things I did. Maybe you'll see something else. Anyway, this is probably going to get copyright strike too. All of these breakdown videos do, as I'm realizing. So hopefully I provided some value today to you guys. Enjoy. Peace.